Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the morning dump. It's Tuesday, June 2nd. I'm your host, Jose Galison. This is the kitty of the day, Floof, the cat trying to get away. He's our aloof kitty. We have two furry fellows in our house, one for each one of my daughters. This is my oldest daughter's cat. He pretty much doesn't like anyone but her. Every now and then he's going to be a little bit cuddly. Now, if you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday, typically around 11 a.m. Eastern. We're a little late today. Oh, well. Or if you just like seeing the kitty of the day, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. That way you can see when we're dropping new videos and when we're going live. With that, we'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing. Right now.
Rise and shine. It's a beautiful day. I'm all right.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are all having a great Tuesday morning. Hope it's productive. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you're learning some stuff. If not, we're gonna get into that. We're going to keep the morning rolling on a good note. Try to keep it fun and light while also learning some stuff along the way. One could consider it productive. We have plenty to go through. As always, we start off the show with some icebreaker content, as we call it. More fun, funny, gen pop, slop sort of stuff. We have a couple of those for you today that I think will not disappoint. And then we'll get into our foreign policy coverage of the day, the foreign policy roundup. And we will, from there, we'll cover a lot of the foreign policy stuff, a lot of Iran stuff today, very Iran heavy. And then we will get into the first named topic of the day, which is why I don't give a fuck about aliens. We'll go through a few cautionary tales, kind of a little update of what's going on in the alien world. They're still trying to run with that psyop. And I figured we'd take a look at the past at a few historical examples of cautionary tales when alien researchers go too deep, and the feds out there that are trying to drag you down that wormhole so you lose your mind. Then we'll go into Peter Thiel goes to Argentina. I know yesterday we did the Antichrist goes to Argentina. So it's a little bit of a little different version. Yesterday we focused more on the Antichrist aspect of the Peter Thiel. Now we're focusing more on the Argentina side of all of it and kind of what's going on there. Also seems there's some interplay with Israel over there as well. So I think it should be a fun day. Should be some interesting topics to go through. As always, I try to remind you, never know when we have somebody new in here, what this show is, what we're doing here. This is an interactive live stream. I hang out with you guys. I talk with you guys. We are also going through information here, but it is an info dump. So this isn't like highly produced. Obviously I go through some stuff that I've looked over already. I've already processed my thoughts on it. But a lot of this stuff is kind of like in the moment we're going through it together for the first time. So just keep that in mind as we go through it. I kind of grab a grab bag of topics related to a certain overall segment, and we go through it, stuff that I've just bookmarked throughout the week. And a lot of people like to listen to it back on the playback. They don't like to be part of the live experience. I totally get that. Like I said, we have a back and forth here. There's a live chat. But if you're listening back on the podcast, that's weird. You don't always want to hear the chat banter. I totally get it. Some people don't like that aspect of the show. Well, lucky for you, I try to keep the chat banter toward the end of each segment. So all you got to do is, if you're catching this in the playback, is as soon as you hear that chat banter occurring, you can just go down to the podcast or video description and go down to the next segment. And boom, most of the platforms these days hyperlink it for you, so it should be even extra easy So, but with that, we've done all the housekeeping, I think, reminded you of all. Oh, yeah, also reminder for if you're here for the live experience, I try to give everyone at least one good morning. After that, you got to catch my interest or catch my wallet. You can super chat, and I do like money. You can also support the show. Top left-hand corner is a QR code there. So if you want to support the show and get some perks as well, as opposed to just a straight-up monetary support in the moment and just me reading your chat, there you go. Get a whole bunch of perks over there. But with that, let's go ahead and get into our first topic of the day. Let's get into our icebreaker content. Let's start out a little bit light. I don't think we've touched on this show. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat and in my audience, you guys are probably all pretty well aware of this story. The Kevin Hart roast that happened not too long ago. I think it's on Netflix. So I think Shane Gillis was like heading it up or something, or he was like the main dude. I don't know. I haven't watched it. I've only caught the clips. But the big thing is Shane Gillis really went hard at Chelsea Handler. I guess Chelsea Handler also, or I guess Tony Hinchcliffe did as well a little bit. There was just kind of like I don't know, there was a little bit of a back and forth roasting. It's a roast. Anyone who's watched a comedy roast, it was a roast of Kevin. It was Kevin Hart, right? Am I like misremembering who it was? I think it was Kevin Hart. But yeah, you think it would be just the main person that they're roasting, but it's not always the case. More often than not, it's some random person that they know who's there as well, some other roaster, and they choose to take that moment to roast them, which I believe Hinchcliffe and God, I can't think, Gillis did as well. So they took shots at Handler. Gillis particularly really focused in on, I guess, that apparently, I don't remember this Epstein file, but it's believable that apparently she went to a dinner with Epstein and I believe Woody Allen and some other people, and so he made a joke out of that. Also made a joke about her Zionism. So, and then she kind of took this away with, kind of played the old woke card of I'm offended, and she just more, instead of focusing on the Epstein stuff, the Zionism stuff, the focus then became, oh, they made fun of me because I'm a whore, or because, I don't know, I like black guys or something. I don't know. And well, no, the black angle, she was upset about some of the racial jokes they were making at a roast of a diminutive black guy. I mean, like, of course racial jokes are going to come up. How could they not? Of a black dude who's like shorter than I am. Anyways, a lot of people have already responded to this. Funny enough, Kevin Hart responded. I believe it was on like the Breakfast Club. He basically, he did play this, like, kind of rode this line of, he's like, yo, I'm with the community, and like, I get it, like some of those jokes maybe I might be like, oh. So he did kind of lean into that, but he even then was like, yeah, but like 80% of me is like the comedian, and is like, hey, this is a roast, these are jokes, and he's like, I think most people are as well. So I think overall, I think maybe he gave a little bit of lip service to the woke scolds out there with that like 20% line, but I think even he, the person who's probably likely the subject of the racial humor, didn't give a shit. There was another black comic there too. I believe someone talked to her. She didn't give a shit as well. Not that it would like make a big difference if they did. It just kind of shows that like, what's your problem, bitch? But I guess Gillis did respond. Anyways, actually, here's the original. Here's from the Hollywood Reporter actually reporting on it. Here's a headline you guys can look at. It says Chelsea Handler slams Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe's racist jokes at Kevin Hart roast. Says there was so much disgustingness. And this was some interview she had, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. This was a statement shared with the Hollywood Reporter because she's gone on some podcasts. She's done a whole, made a whole circuit out of this. And Shane Gillis responded. And I got to be real. I think to some degree, maybe she was hoping that, like, there would be a back and forth, but Gillis handled this flawlessly. He said he shared a statement with the Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday in response to Handler's comments, which read, "This is a big moment for Chelsea. I'm glad she's capitalizing. Good for her. We're all rooting for her. Anyway, come see me July 17th at the football stadium in Philly." So well handled. Hilarious stuff. By the way, Crack Amico got a banger. I guess since we're in the icebreaker portion, I guess we can kind of do like another opening little intro. I figured maybe we'll play like the first verse of Crack Amico's banger track he made for this. And then we'll get into our next icebreaker story, because I do got to show you guys this. I don't know if I want to do the full one, and I do think it's multiple verses, so it does get a little redundant. But I think you'll get the idea. This will fill in a lot of context, though, for those who aren't as apprised of the story.
they're racist, that they're bigots, that they're sexist. They couldn't say anything other than that I'm a whore or my age.
Chelsea Handler went to dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2010.
It's not clever writing, and I knew they would be lazy. Or do you tough-talking pussies only go to the Middle East for comedy festivals?
I say, who the fuck this dumb bitch? I remember vaguely. Know your name is Chelsea, but what have you done lately? Lie about your age, get enraged by some dark jokes at a fucking roast, even though your skin is pasty. How about you shut up, bitch? Shut up, bitch. 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 Suck a motherfucking dick. Shut up, bitch. 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 You the softest baby shit. I said, shut the fuck up, you a motherfucking hypocrite. Used to tell jokes all of a sudden you give a shit. If a joke racist, you a nigga gracious just based on the fact you was clapping on 50 Cent. Now fuck that, you try. Yeah. Your black heart denied. Bitch. Your sense of humor and pussy is dry. They must have shriveled up and died. Whoa. You look like a movie star, must have got thinner. If you had a sitcom, it'd sure be a winner. Cause you could just fill up your banks and get fresh with the prince. Watch out for we serving you dinner. What, you thought we forgot? No. I bet those parties got rowdy. Damn. I bet you embarrassed accusing Lil Tony and Gillis of going to Saudi. Oops. Cause they were offered in decline. Bitches, you fucking retarded. Bitch. Or do you just stereotype certain people and place them within your own margins? Speaking of marginalized, these people are not what you think. Hey, I don't even like Tony, but you such a phony. You got me defending his twink, let's talk about it. How many women in black and the cripples he put on this year, let's talk about it. Probably more than you help with your tears your entire career, go blog about it. Coming in shame, no need to defend him, it goes without saying. You should be ashamed, team on his back like Sandler. Bitch, we smoke it on handler pack. Gas. All
right, that's enough of that one. That's a banger, though. Go check out the rest. There's a whole ass other minute. It's one of those songs you're going to want to listen on repeat. Complete banger. Good job, Crackamico. At Crackamico, RAP on Twitter if you're over there. I believe he has a YouTube channel. I'm not sure if he put that on YouTube. Part of the reason why I was like debating playing this too is because like, oh man, that is totally going to get me de-boosted, de-something. Because it does go pretty hard. I mean, not that there's any like hard slurs, but it literally the chorus is shut up bitch, shut up bitch, shut up bitch. It's like kind of going a little hard. I don't know. It may trip the harassment sensors, so make sure to give a like as they come in for I guess to help a brother to off-put the deboosting that I retardedly wandered into. But either way, that filled in a lot of context too. A lot of the funnier aspects. She did make jokes apparently about Shane and Tony going to that Saudi concert that a lot of people made a thing about or whatever. Which they turned down. So, like, even that joke didn't fly. So, it's just kind of her being retarded. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. I guess a lot of people have been upset about the recent finale of The Boys. I stopped watching that seasons ago. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Now, I will say, this will make sense in a moment. I will say, though, from what I understand, I heard, I guess, spoilers for the finale. I mean, it was all over social media. I don't know how you could have missed it by now. I didn't watch the show, but I figured out the finale. I never read the comics. I read a couple of the comics. I think I had like a couple of the volumes. I didn't really care for the comics that much. I knew where the comics go and where they're supposed to go. I knew the show diverted from that a long time ago when they killed off Black Noir. For those who aren't aware, in the comics, Black Noir is actually like a clone of Homelander, who is actually, I believe, even more powerful, and he's actually the one doing all the crazy shit, like raping Butcher's wife and shit, you know, which kind of makes Homelander go nuts, thinking he's doing all these dastardly deeds, and then it kind of, you know, weirdly manifests itself, and he actually kind of then becomes evil, loses his mind, tries to take over the world, yada yada. Anyways, they went way off script from the original, you know, comic book. That would have been a fun twist. Now, I will say what ended up happening is I guess they found a way to depower him, and then he was powerless, and then he was literally begging for his life, like, oh, I'll suck your dick, I'll eat your shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the meme going around. I actually think that was, like, kind of a fitting ending. I don't really understand people upset about it. Like, they expected Homelander to be a courageous character. Like, I know that he has been this character a lot of people have grown fond of, and it's become this meme of, like, how like lefties are like they create these parody characters that right wingers are supposed to be like, look, this is you, right winger, and then right wingers love it. And I loved Homelander too, and I understood the love for Homelander, but you also still understand he is the villain, and he's also not really a tough guy. So like you're not really looking up to him. You're just like, what a hilarious, funny guy. Like there's like an endearing character about him. That doesn't mean he's the good guy. So I don't. Anyways, I just think it's weird how like that dynamic of all of that, and how there are like weirdly now the right wingers are all like, oh look, they try to make him do this as like a statement to the right or something, and this is what happens. I actually think it's kind of I mean, assuming all things considered, since they diverted from like what I think would have probably been a better ending, the original one from the comics, I think it was kind of fitting for Homelander. He's kind of a piece of shit. His whole thing is like him tripping on power, and then now power is gone, and it shows what a weak man he is. It's kind of poetic. I mean, anyways, I'm getting off track. Apparently in the show, hard segue here, but I did want to take a chance to give my opinion on The Boys. Apparently in The Boys, there was like a golden statue of Homelander. And maybe that was in there. I don't know what season that was in, if this is in a later season. I don't know if they made a big deal of it, but some people point out the parallel. Apparently Trump did that as well. Apparently there was a group of what is it with me and words today? A group of evangelical leaders that came in Mar-a-Lago and dedicated a gold statue to Donald Trump. So that is a thing happening. Yeah, I know, hard segue from Homelander to that, but just I guess kind of fiction, or reality mirrors fiction. And it's kind of this also hilarity too of like there is, I think, truth to that. The Boys did tried to become this parody of this MAGA era, and funny enough, in like this latest season, there's been numerous occurrences where like they're trying to keep up, but they can't even parody as hard as Trump is going in real life. And I guess here's another such example of it. So here's a little, I guess, clip. You maybe look, see some of the different angles, or here's the statue.
I want to make sure everyone can hear. Okay, sir.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you so much for being there today, and more importantly, for what you did. The statue is beautiful. I saw it during the weekend. We had a big PGA tournament with a great champion, and all great champions, actually, but it was a great tournament, and I got to look at it very closely, and it's incredible. And I just want to thank you. I know it was done from love, and I want to thank Mark Burns, a pastor. He's a good pastor. He's a good man. I've known him a long time. He's been with me from the beginning, right from the beginning. Maybe about 2 days later, right? 2 days. But
right, Mr. President.
he was right at the beginning, and I appreciate it, Mark. You're great, and just really a good person. And I want to thank everybody there. I don't know, here there's a good crowd of people, but I want to thank you all, and I won't forget it. And we love you all, and the country's doing great. And
all right, that's enough of that. Now let's dig a little bit deeper in that. Let's look into who was actually the one who cut the ribbon at the ceremony. There was an individual named Brock Pierce. I don't know if that name rings a bell for you guys, but apparently he was a Mighty Ducks actor. He ended up taking over, creating Tether. He was a co-founder of that. He's also notable for being in the Epstein files. So he just cut the ribbon at Trump's golden statue ceremony. Former child actor turned billionaire. He's also faced multiple accusations of sexual misconduct involving underage boys. In 2017, a lawsuit alleged he and another man abused several minors in the early 2000s. So fun stuff. Let's watch this little video. I think it shows gives a little few of those receipts. Let's watch it together.
I want to thank you. I know it was done
Oh, it's playing the little thing we watched again. But it says Brock Pierce is mentioned in approximately 1,800 documents.
And I want to thank Mark Burns, a pastor. He's a good pastor.
So here you go. Here's a different angle of that video we watched a little bit ago. So there is Brock Pierce.
Man, I've known him a long time. He's been with me from the beginning, right from the beginning. Maybe about 2 days later, right?
Well, to be fair, he's one of, I guess, looks like multiple that were cutting the scissors. Looks like there were like multiple hands on it. It's kind of hard to tell, a little grainy. Oh, here's the email from Brock Pierce to Jeffrey Epstein. It says, will do, broke up my girlfriend last night, so that won't be a problem. Best regards, Brock. It says, call me. It says, I had a great time with the girls. I hope they had fun too. Thanks. And there's the back and forth. So obviously, who knows? You don't know what girls they're talking about here. But at least it shows a little bit of at least a semi-personal relationship with Epstein, it would seem. And here's him from the Mighty Ducks there on the left. You can see on the right, here's him in the movie First Kid. It looks like Sinbad next to him. So fun stuff. Small world, right? It's weird how all these Epstein people show up everywhere. I guess we can just chalk that up to the elite running in small circles, right, guys? With that, let's roll to the chat, say some good mornings, say some hellos, checking on you beautiful people, see what you got to say, and then we will get into some foreign policy. Good morning, Fox Mulder. Good morning. Saying you found me through my OKC playlist. Hell yeah, where did you find, I'm curious, where did you find the OKC playlist from? Did you find it naturally on YouTube, or was it like, because that's the thing I typically plug the most when I've gone on bigger shows, is I'll be like, I'm known for this. So like, did you like see me on a larger platform, or did it just show up naturally on YouTube or something like that? Curious. Good morning. Good to see you here, though. Good morning, Afahares. Evening. I believe you're one of my foreign audience members. Good to see you here. Good morning, Marcus Packard. Saying good morning, Thiel is leaving the country. Yay. Good morning, Tom33. Good morning, Alien Big Cat. Good morning, Derp with Kerp. Good morning, Bug Fights. Netherlands. Yeah, that's right. I almost said Netherlands, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Netherlands, that's where you're from, Afres. Says, finally, it's out in the Netherlands. Only one radio station talks about it. Not sure what you're talking about there. Let me see what else we got there. Good morning, Hotep. Says, alien just means foreign. Hitler called the Jews alien invaders, and I'm convinced part of the alien invasion is just the low IQ brownoids. Yeah, maybe there's something to that. They do seem to be very hung up on using specific language that can trick you. Good morning, Deep Tissue Explorer. Said, damn, Shane is bulking up. Yeah, I think that was like one of those like things to make him look like a Chad. But yeah, Deep Tissue Explorer. That is a homoerotic name, but I'm here for it. What else we got? Good morning, Mr. Wokereich. Says, Thiel visiting family in Argentina, right? His grandfather's a Führer. Good morning, Tara. Says, good morning, Jose. Good morning. Peace be with you all. I have to get ready to go see my counselor, but I'll be listening while getting ready. Glad to see you here. Glad you're doing well. By the way, I just dropped that Telegram link over in Patreon. I know you just joined recently. I think it's for any other patrons out there. The link is up there fresh. That is a fun community to join. She said this shit is going to be in my head for the rest of the day, guys. Thank you. Yeah, go listen to the rest of it. It's a fun banger. I listened to it probably like 5 times the first time I heard it, banging in the car. Good morning, they aggressively agreeing, saying, I bet Chelsea has role-played being a slave owner with a black guy before. She did date 50 Cent for a while. So that's like part of, if you guys may have missed some of that, there were some references to that. Like, she's made jokes before about how, like, she can make black jokes because she banged a black guy or something. And so a lot of people have been throwing that in her face. So, which, okay, fair enough. I mean, I think she was just trying to be funny. I think it's more the idea, though, that she was open to making, like, racial humor in the past, and now she's like, oh, I'm going to condemn people for it. It just seems kind of gay. Although, I don't know. I didn't watch the roast. Maybe they did go crazy hard in the paint, and so that's a fair thing to say. Like, I guess if they were hard R-ing it like crazy or something, which I doubt it, it would be a fair commentary to be like, well, it was a little bit, the racial overtones were laid on a little heavy. Like, I'd be like, okay, I get it's a fair complaint. I think maybe your general audience may be a little bit turned off. What else we got? Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good morning. Hotep says, Homelander was an abused child. He should have brought Vaught down. Man, you bought up into the hype. I never bought in. I don't know. I guess maybe some people did buy into, like, you're rooting for him. I mean, there is some tragic part, I guess, where you can be like, there is a child deep down inside. But I watched the first few seasons, and, like, everything about him is, like, what an unreasonable piece of shit he is. Like, and it is so beyond far gone. Like, he is basically the moral equivalent of like an orc in Lord of the Rings. Like, sure, maybe there's some abstract sense of them being redeemable, but no, you fucking kill that thing. So I don't know. I don't get that takeaway some people have gone. I get they did in the first, I think one of the first seasons they did kind of go into that so you could sympathize. But I still think the theme was like he's like so far gone. Like you're not bringing back like that. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So it's almost like a tragic thing. But anyways. Good morning. Expose it now. Dropping spam in the chat. Appreciate it. Good morning, Oxtail. Says, what's up, Jose? I'm playing War Thunder. Cool. Good morning, Marnamak. Good morning. Good morning, Sir Hans Solo. You got to do the I with a doodad. Oh, somebody's trying to, he should somehow say no words on Rumble. Hi, Pixie from a different account. She's a real homie there. What else we got? Good morning, JC. You're the last one in there. Let's get into some foreign policy, and then we will get into some alien stuff after that. So let's get into foreign policy. Wish I had some good news, but not looking so great. As of noon yesterday, this is the first piece we'll be covering, June 1st. This is written by Dave DeCamp over at antiwar.com. It says the U.S. and Iran have again traded attacks as the region remains on the brink of full-scale war, despite the nominal ceasefire between the two sides. The IRGC announced on Sunday that it shot down a U.S. MQ-1 Predator drone that it said entered Iranian airspace over territorial waters with the aim of carrying out a hostile operation. U.S. CENTCOM confirmed that it lost a drone in a statement announcing another round of U.S. airstrikes against targets in Iran. The measured and deliberate strikes occurred on Saturday and Sunday in response to aggressive Iranian actions that included the shoot-down of a U.S. MQ-1 drone that was operating over international waters, CENTCOM said. The U.S. air fighter swiftly responded by eliminating Iranian air defenses, a ground control station, and 2 one-way attack drones that pose clear threats to ships transiting regional waters, the command added. Iran said that a telecommunications tower in southern Iran was bombed by the U.S. and said that it fired at the U.S. airbase from which the attack originated. The IRGC claimed the attack destroyed targets, while CENTCOM claimed that it intercepted Iranian missiles. Last night, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. forces successfully intercepted 2 Iranian ballistic missiles targeting American forces based in Kuwait. These missiles were immediately defeated and no American personnel were harmed, CENTCOM said in a statement on Monday. Last week, Iran also targeted a U.S. airbase in Kuwait in response to U.S. airstrikes, and at least 5 U.S. troops and contractors suffered minor injuries, according to a report from Bloomberg. The U.S. also continued to enforce a blockade of Iranian ports, which involved the U.S. aircraft firing a Hellfire missile at a civilian ship on Friday. A return to the full-scale war appeared more likely on Monday as Iranian media reported Iran cut off negotiations with the U.S. in response to Iran's continued war and escalations in Lebanon, which are a violation of the initial ceasefire announced by Pakistan. And I think most of that's kind of like where we left off yesterday, but things have gone so complicated, it's good to give a little bit of a what's going on. But I guess a little bit more on the newer side of things. We got Iran saying they're no longer sending little love letters back and forth to the U.S., which is going to be interesting. Little tidbit to keep in the back of your mind as we cover the rest of the foreign policy stuff today. So Iran's Tasnim news agency reported on Monday that Tehran has suspended the exchange of messages with the U.S. that was being done through Pakistan due to Israel's continued war and its escalations in Lebanon, given the continuing crimes of the Zionist regime in Lebanon, and considering that Lebanon was one of the preconditions for the ceasefire and that this ceasefire has now been violated on all fronts, including Lebanon, the Iranian negotiating team is suspending dialogues and exchange of texts through mediators, the Tasnim report said. Later the day, Trump insisted that negotiations with Iran continue. Talks are continuing at a rapid pace with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank you for your attention to this matter, he wrote on Truth Social. When the initial ceasefire was announced by Pakistan, a statement that was reviewed by the U.S., it included an end to Israel's attacks on Lebanon, which never happened despite a nominal ceasefire being declared last month. The Tasnim report said that Iran was ready to fully close the Strait of Hormuz and take action in cooperation with its allies in Lebanon, Yemen, and Iraq in response to Israel's continued attacks and ground invasion in Lebanon. Iranian officials also released public statements warning that the U.S. and Israel would be responsible for any escalations. For immediate attention, the ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. is unequivocally a ceasefire on all fronts, including in Lebanon. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said in a post on X, "Its violation on one front is a violation of the ceasefire on all fronts. The U.S. and Israel are responsible for the consequences of any violation," Araghchi added. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, who has been involved in negotiations with the U.S., also issued a post on X where he said Israel's war in Lebanon, as well as the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports, were a violation of the ceasefire. The naval blockade and escalations of war crimes in Lebanon by the genocidal Zionist regime are clear evidence of U.S. noncompliance with the ceasefire, Ghalibaf said. Every choice has a price, and the bill comes due. It will all fall into place. So not looking good. They're saying they're not having back and forth. Well, this is as Trump is saying. Here he is saying, "I had a very productive call with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, and there will be no troops going to Beirut, and any troops that are on their way have already been turned back. Likewise, through highly placed representatives, I had a very good call with Hezbollah, and they agreed that all shooting will stop, that Israel will not attack them, and they will not attack Israel. President Donald J. Trump." To which that I replied with a picture of Donald Trump looking over a button that does nothing, because we've seen this play one too many times. If you've been following this show, you know this is almost certainly bullshit. And unfortunately, that looks to be the case. So, not looking good. Ghalibaf said, did I just read that one? Did I do these out of order? I think I may have just realized I did these out of order, or I'm retarded. No, I didn't do this one already. Ghalibaf says Iran will be in direct confrontation with Israel if it doesn't halt attacks on Lebanon. I got mixed up because Ghalibaf was in the last one we covered as well, but not the... Anyways, so... We got Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said on Monday that Iran would be in a direct confrontation with the enemy if Israel doesn't halt its attacks on Lebanon. So, okay, this is on the subject of Israel and whether they are really turning around in Lebanon. Ghalibaf made the comments in a post on X recounting a conversation he had with Nabi Berri, the Speaker of Lebanon's parliament and leader of the Amal movement, a Shia political faction that's largely aligned with Hezbollah. Oh, I don't even have these up. So you guys are probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? My bad. Here you go. Here's the articles over at antiwar.com. Okay. In my conversation with my brother, President Nabi Berri, I affirmed that if the Israeli aggression against Lebanon continues, we will not only halt the path of negotiations, but we will also be in direct confrontation with the enemy. Ghalibaf said in Arabic, "Long live the resistance, long live the defense of the land, and long live the brotherhood between the Lebanese and Iranian people." So we got Iran saying, "Hey, they're gonna go at it with Iran if they don't fucking cut it out with Lebanon." So, shit. Earlier today, Iranian media reported that Tehran halted negotiations with Washington over Israel's continued attacks and escalations in Lebanon. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced Israel planned to launch strikes in Beirut's southern suburbs, but appeared to have backed down after a call with President Trump. Iran had also warned that it could target northern Israel if Netanyahu went ahead with the strikes. Trump claimed in two posts on Truth Social after his call with Netanyahu that some sort of ceasefire had been agreed to, though Israeli attacks continue in southern Lebanon and Hezbollah continues to fire at Israeli forces. Says, I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today, asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut, Lebanon. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi, Trump said in his second post on Truth Social. Said, I also had a conversation with representatives of the leaders of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully it will be for eternity, he added. There's no sign that U.S. officials actually spoke with Hezbollah leaders, as media reports have said that the U.S. has been speaking with Berri, who relayed messages from Hezbollah. Netanyahu made clear in his statement on the call they intended to continue the war in southern Lebanon. It says, tonight I spoke with President Trump and told him that if Hezbollah does not cease attacking our cities and citizens, Israel will attack terror targets in Beirut. The stance of ours remains unchanged. In parallel, the IDF will continue to operate as planned in southern Lebanon. So a little bit different from what they said to Trump. And then now we, with that being in mind, now we got this problem of like, whoa, shit, Trump, you said, hey, that they're going to turn around. They're not going to be doing anything in Lebanon. And now we're getting this message from Netanyahu of like, well, we're not turning around, but if they attack us, we're going to keep right at it. And we're definitely going to continue with southern Lebanon. So everything's going on the same there. So very different. Now you obviously have a little bit of pie in your face. So it's like, how do we deal with this? Well, you put out an Axios story. So Axios reported that Trump had lashed out at Netanyahu during the call, calling him fucking crazy over Israel's escalations in Lebanon. But according to Israeli media reports, the U.S. and Israel have previously put out leaks about the two leaders being at odds to keep Iran off guard. An Israeli official also told the net earlier on Monday that Israel had coordinated with the U.S. on the threat to attack Beirut, which we've covered this. We've already gone through this multiple times on this show. We multiple times through the Iran ordeal. We've gotten these, I believe, between Iran and Gaza throughout the Trump administration. And funny enough, the same exact tact was used in the Biden administration as well. That's how pathetic this is. It's literally the same exact game plan as Biden. But anyways, this is what it happens. Some crazy, flagrant disregarding of the wishes of, their political wishes, whether it be Biden being like, hey, you are destroying my favorability with the party. Any chances of re-election? Could you not? Just completely no. We're they just don't give a shit. Essentially, when there's clearly it goes against what should be the political incentives of anyone in that given situation, like Trump right now, completely, it's basically the same thing as Biden, completely destroying him politically as well. We have these midterms coming. He's not looking at re-election himself, but the party is, and he's completely fucked that up for everybody. And even then, still pressing forward with the same, not doing anything, not withholding any sort of the aid. This is all subsidized by the United States. And then what you do is you just put out a story saying, oh, there was some mean words said, and they're super mad at each other behind the scenes, but in front of our faces, the same shit happens. So, regardless if it's true or not, who gives a shit? Here's Mario Nafal. I guess I'll show you a little bit. We'll see some of the larger quotes here. It is paywalled. Otherwise, I would have brought up the Axios piece for you. But here's some of the quotes from Trump to Bibi, the supposed quotes. It says, you're fucking crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this. And then there gets the official that leaked this, said Trump basically steamrolled him, and Netanyahu caved with, okay, just make sure everything is taken care of. And then here's how the MAGA spin right here with Mario Nafal. And I think this is kind of the typical MAGA spin for this, right, all time, too, is this is what he says. This is huge either way. If it's true, Trump basically bitch slapped Netanyahu, reminded him who's actually in charge. If it's not true, then someone inside the administration leaked it to Axios to damage or warn Bibi, which is almost as telling. Either way, that relationship is cracking in real time. Well, that, my friend, is what you call a false binary. Those are literally not the only two options. There are some other options. We look really, really fucking stupid right now, so we got to relieve some of this steam somehow and make it look like I'm not entirely your bitch. Coordinated political stagecraft is what this is. So, okay, next. And anyways, we got Trump killing 12 in southern Lebanon, operations as planned, like he said. So the highways around Lebanon's capital city of Beirut were heavily crowded today after Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered major attacks against Beirut's southern suburb Dahiyah. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz cited the continued Hezbollah resistance in southern Lebanon as a reason Beirut would be attacked, saying if there is no calm in northern Israel, there will be no calm in Beirut. President Trump claimed Monday afternoon that he'd spoken to Netanyahu and was assured that no ground troops were actually headed to Beirut. Israeli media are citing unnamed sources suggesting the attack on Beirut has been postponed at the request of the U.S. Iran threatened to strike northern Israel if the Beirut attacks had continued. Netanyahu, for his part, didn't mention postponing attacks on Beirut and insisted attacks on southern Lebanon would continue. He insisted Israel's stance has not changed, and the suggestion seems to be that Hezbollah would have to unilaterally halt all attacks on Israel in return for Israel to not attack Beirut. But that, irrespective of that, Israel will continue its offensive in the south, targeting Hezbollah. I didn't even think about that. That's actually smart. With the way that he framed that, as I said, the way that Netanyahu has framed the situation, framed it, because you got Trump that comes out and saying, oh, he's turning around, he's doing this, he's doing that, and then Netanyahu goes, whoa, not exactly. Well, we'll stop attacking Hezbollah in the north if they stop attacking us. And I don't think there was a clarification of in the north. So I think the idea is attacking us anywhere. And then they even go on further and the southern operations will continue basically as planned. Well, southern operations are essentially destroying southern Lebanon and, coincidentally, the people in it as well. I mean, they're mostly probably just destroying the land and the buildings at this point. But either way, it's like, well, wouldn't be surprising if you encounter some resistance there. And so it's like, it'd be one thing if you're like, okay, northern Lebanon, stop attacking. We'll stop attacking you there. But it's kind of like you really expect people to just allow everything to be destroyed in the south. So anyways, it seems to be a crafted way for them to continue doing what they're going to do anyways. So while much focus is being paid to impending attacks in Beirut, Israel continues to pound southern Lebanon as well, having killed at least 12 people in strikes around the region so far on Monday and wounded several others, including at least one paramedic. The paramedic was wounded during an attack against a vehicle on the road to Nabatea, and there was no word of any medical workers being injured in an Israeli attack on the town of Thiel, which killed a Syrian man who was near the town's hospital. Largest death toll was reported in Kfar Seir, where overnight strikes killed at least 5 people. Kfar Seir is in Nabatea district near the Litani River and has been targeted several times in recent weeks. Israel also claimed to have killed the Hezbollah missile commander in the Nabatea region. Hezbollah, for its part, launched a drone strike on an Israeli troop position in the town of Yomor, killing 1 Israeli soldier and wounding 3 others overnight. One of the wounded soldiers was described as seriously wounded, while the other 2 lightly. So they killed Hezbollah killed 1 soldier. Where was this, in Yomor? I don't know if that's southern Lebanon. Okay, anyways, let's move on. We got deaths over in Palestine, or not in Palestine, over in Gaza as well. This time they only killed 1, but it's very rare you get none. It's very rare you get 1 as well. But they managed to only kill 1 in Gaza. I would not expect that to keep constant. Israeli strike in central Gaza on Monday killed at least 1 Palestinian as the IDF continues daily attacks in the Strip. In violation of the U.S.-backed ceasefire deal, Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that a man was killed and another was injured when an Israeli airstrike targeted a bicycle in the Barouj refugee camp in central Gaza. Later in the day, another Israeli attack targeted the same area, and a child was reported to be injured. Wafa also reported that Israeli forces set fire to dozens of homes in Jabalia, northern Gaza. Local sources told Wafa that Israeli forces set fire to dozens of homes and properties east of Jabalia camp, causing flames and thick smoke to rise, blanking the skies over the northeastern area of the Strip. Gaza Health Ministry sent its daily update, which it releases about midday Gaza time, that recorded the Israeli killing of 2 Palestinians and the injury of 41 over the previous 24-hour period. The ministry said that since the so-called ceasefire deal was signed in October 2025, the IDF has killed at least 932 Palestinians and injured 2,859. So they're getting near that 1,000 mark, so unfortunately. And they keep moving that yellow line over as well. It started at 53%, which was the deal. They eventually encroached it up to 60%. And recently, Netanyahu said last week that he ordered it to expand to 70%, just flagrantly disregarding their ceasefire deal even more than they already do on a daily basis. With that, let's roll in the chat, say some more good mornings, say some hellos, all that good stuff. And then we will get into why I don't give a fuck about aliens. JC says, seems like a lot of Homelander stans didn't care about his childhood abuse and just saw him as a based super Trump insert who owned the libs. I mean, I guess maybe some people identified him that way and that's why they're acting as such, but I don't know. I enjoyed him as a character, but I also was like, he's a piece of shit. Like, like I did think there is a funny point in the idea of that, like, he does seem like to be, he's kind of like, God, why can't I think of his name? Nick Offerman's character in Parks and Rec. where he's like ended up being the crazy libertarian, and like it was supposed to be like this parody to make fun of him, but he actually ends up being really lovable, and you're like, a lot of his ideas make a lot of sense. So it was trying to be the same thing. It was trying to kind of make fun of you, but it's then people are just like, oh, this is an endearing character, and it's a fun character. I mean, what can you say? He is like that. The like bad voice in the back of your head is kind of what Homelander is. So, and there is like a small redeeming, whatever. Anyways, moving on. Tara over on Rumble now. Hell yeah. Got people over on multiple platforms, boosting it up both ways. Appreciate it. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Good morning, Jack. So I think Trump leaked the fact that BB planned to invade Peru. Maybe he did. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know why you would, but Tom says, I think us subsidizing Israel is what makes me hate them the most. Otherwise, they'd just be one of many countries made up of bloodthirsty monsters. Yeah, but they'd be like ineffective bloodthirsty monsters too. So that is like part of what's so bad about it too. Is that they probably actually wouldn't be bloodthirsty monsters if we didn't feed them, because they just wouldn't have the ability to be bloodthirsty monsters. Good morning, Mustache. Good morning. Says they're going to turn Lebanon into Gaza. Good morning, Gerald. Says, wow, is Jose handsome or not? Oh, stop it. Stop, Gerald. Just stop. Ron Swanson, right? Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Ron Swanson. Good morning. I already said good morning to you. But the actor who played Frenchie was former IDF. This is aggressively agreeing. Yes, I've seen that before, which kind of makes sense. You're like, oh, it is kind of wild. I've seen people point out that like they went and made fun of a lot of different things, a lot of different political tropes clearly are being parodied. It's very obvious. There's lots of MAGA stuff, but never really feel any sort of like shitting on any Israel anything. And like looking back, you're like, that was kind of a pretty big cultural touchstone, I guess you could say, over the past like 5+ years, especially if you're making a show that's capitalizing on political parody. Kind of weird. You never really never got, I mean, hell, even Superman, like the last Superman movie, which I liked, a lot of people didn't like. It literally was basically Netanyahu was the villain of that movie. Like, unironically, that's basically who it was. It was some sort of weird mix of like some sort of mishmash of like Putin, Zelensky, and like Netanyahu. That's kind of what that character was. Good morning, Qbert. But yeah, it is weird. The Frenchie actor was former IDF, and they did not seem to give a shit about Israeli stuff. So I don't know. It's weird thing to notice. Looking back, you're like, you'd think you would have had a lot of fun with that one. All right, let's get into some alien stuff, guys. So we had the second release recently of the Alien Files, or whatever the hell they're calling it. What are they trying to call it? They're calling it the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Files. Just doesn't have that same zing. It's just not. I'm just not feeling it. So the UAP Files, I guess, is maybe a little bit better. So, yep, got released. This is May 22nd, and it's the first you're hearing about it on my show. That's how you know how much I care about it. What was that? That was 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks. It was like a week and a half ago. And here's the first tell you hear of it. I haven't really even seen much come up about it, but I figured, I guess the subject here becomes, why don't I care about UFO stuff? I mean, you would think this is like usually most conspiracy, even parapolitical people. It's like usually like entry level, like, oh shit, alien. And it is fun. We grew up in the 90s on aliens, the X-Files. You're like, and it was super dope. It's fun thinking about these big ideas. Are there other things out there? But then once the government starts coming at you with, oh, here's a release of our UFO files, and especially when the first round is like, I mean, let's be real. We've already gone through this, the ringer on this numerous times. We're like, dude, you're full of shit. Like, we've got the JFK files. We got the Epstein. Like, the idea we would expect anything mind-blowing from the UFO files. And even if we did, it'd be like, okay, but what are you trying to sell me here? So we're cool. We're getting UFO files. I mean, there hasn't been really much. I haven't seen much come across. I mean, maybe there's other communities out there that are going gangbusters and think this is, like, mind-blowing. I just don't care. But but anyways, it is one of those like entry level ones. When the government's telling us though that otherwise, that's when we get a little suspicious. Also, when, gas is like around 4 or more, people start to care a little bit less about this UFO thing. I mean, they've completely demolished their trust, and they come out here with some goofy UFO stuff, and they expect us to be like, eat it right up. Excuse me, we're going to need a moment. You're going to need to rebuild that trust, and you haven't even tried whatsoever to do so. So, yeah. But also, I think, getting learned in all the different conspiracies out there, you start reading, going down any rabbit holes of parapolitical research or pretty much any conspiracies, and it usually doesn't take too long before you come across some of the disinformation campaigns from the government itself. And one of the most, renowned places this occurs is in UFO research. They do it other places as well, but UFOs seems to be where they really like to pull out all the stops, have lots of fun. And so I figured today we go through some cautionary tales of that. But before we do that, before we get into those cautionary tales of these researchers that have gone too far, being egged on by disinfo, by the feds, and similar such stories, I figured we go through a couple Lauren Boebert clips. I mean, she's one of the faces I've been seeing in all sorts of clips trying to sell this, it seems. So let's see. I don't know. I haven't watched these together. Let's watch these together. Let's see if maybe a pretty face and a tight little body can get me to give a damn about UFOs. I doubt it. Let's try.
And in today's world, that's really something. But even in these, even in some of the documentations that I'm seeing, there's a lot to do with even portals. And I'm interested in more information of that coming out as well. But even to be in a congressional hearing and have enough information to ask the question, is there breeding between these biological beings and humans? There's a there that needs to be answered. And I got a lot of heat from local papers at home and some folks, but we're just asking the questions. If someone is going to come to congressional offices and say that they have seen it, that they have been a part of it, and are read into these programs, then it's worth an investigation. And all of these agencies, even the contractors, when they are too big to answer to government, when they were too big to answer to Congress, the entity that created them, and gives them funding, then it's clear that they're too big, and we have got to rein that in and have more accountability.
What you started out with saying, that you had heard somebody saying that they believed in the government, or they believed in the alien program or disclosure before the government started talking about it.
Oh, well, they cut that off at a weird spot. Well, didn't quite do it for me. Let's try one more. We'll see if this one does it. Here's Lauren Boebert again.
God is the creator of the universe. He's never not going to create. So it's always been something in my mind to say, well, how can we be the only ones? Like, God's not going to stop creating just with us. But the more I look into this, the more I see the Old Testament and what was told to us there of fallen angels and Nephilim. I mean, this is in the Bible. There's nothing that says that fallen angels, that Nephilim just disappeared. And so I believe that this could be an aspect of it. There are things that we have seen that could resemble portals. And, we serve an infinite God, a God of the universe. And to say that this is the only realm is ignorant. And so what I've seen, I wouldn't, put it as, Marvin the Martian kind of thing. But I do believe that this is more spiritual. And if you really want to go there, demonic.
What do you guys think? Do you guys care? Because I'll admit she's looking pretty cute, but still don't care. If anything, I actually probably care less now after watching these two clips. Although maybe it's the almost middle-aged married man with kids in me that just hears some woman going yada yada yada, and I go ugh, and just go. So now I care less. Like I don't, like I'm immune. Like I don't care. So maybe that has something to do with it, or maybe it's because I've read. I've read. And so then I become, and maybe that's part of that dynamic of being immune as well. You see these people are just spouting off, and they clearly haven't really ever hardly read, and just having fun with some pop culture Nephilim conspiracies or some shit they've heard from some of their other conservative influencers. And you can just tell the lights aren't on. There's nothing going on behind those eyes. That might be why. But once you've dug a little bit into reading over in the conspiracy world, it doesn't take a whole lot of digging before you come across the many stories of people driven mad in UFO research as a result of the feds fucking with them. So with that, we come back to the tried and true account of RJ Morrow at Toxic Tiramisu over here on Twitter, frequently dropping little tidbits of literature, and we'll be digging into some of these examples. Let's give you the sources real quick. Source: The Mirage Men, an adventure into paranoia, espionage, psychological warfare, and UFOs by Mark Pilkington. So let's dig into some of these. In 1957, Brazilian farmer Antonio Villas Boas reported an alien abduction. A former CIA operative later described staging a hoax abduction on an unnamed farmer in Brazil as part of Operation Mirage, a program that manufactured fake UFO incidents, including MKUltra Psy-War techniques. Now, as I've done with these quite frequently, I'll give it a retweet, and when I read these, I'm probably mostly just going to read the highlighted portions. So if you want to dig into this further on your own time, just go ahead and check out my page over at Tower Gang Jose. It'll be one of the more recent retweets. But digging through here, got 2 nights previously, he and his brother Zhao had been plowing the same fields when a glaring red light had startled them. It was bright enough to hurt their eyes and occasionally gave out dazzling blasts like the setting sun. Every time they tried to approach the light, it would zip away until suddenly it vanished as if it had been turned out. It was a strange machine, Villas Boas told Fontes, rather rounded in shape and surrounded by little purplish lights, and with an enormous red headlight in front. It was a large, elongated egg. On the upper part of the machine, there was something which was revolving at great speed and also giving a powerful fluorescent reddish light. When the flying machine landed, Villas Boas tried to run, but a short, strong individual dressed in strange clothing grabbed him violently. 3 taller beings then emerged and carried him back to their craft, pushing him up a metal ladder, then through a hatch with a drop-down door. It sounds a little... the interior of the craft also seems to reflect a rather 1950s version of the future. It was round, white, brightly lit, and featureless, the only furniture being a metal table and swiveling stools, all bolted to the floor. A ring of square fluorescent lights ran around the ceiling. Here they place a device like a cupping glass that draws blood under his chin. Then he was left alone. A gray smoke filled the room, entering from holes in the walls, which left him feeling nauseous as a short, extremely beautiful, entirely naked woman appeared in the doorway. She was human, though her features were unusually pointed. Her hair was almost white and parted in the center, though her pubic hair was bright red. Her eyes were large and blue, more elongated than round, being slanted outwards like the slit eyes of those girls who make themselves up fancifully to look like Arabian princesses. The woman began to rub herself against Villas Boas, leaving him uncontrollably aroused. One thing led to another. It was a normal act, said Villas Boas, and she behaved just as any woman would. The farmer blamed his excitement on the fluid that his captors had wiped over his body, though one wonders if an aphrodisiac would have been necessary under the circumstances. Okay, with her fish, the woman smiled, pointed her stomach, and then to the sky, leading Villas Boas to conclude that she was going to have their hybrid child. Continuing on, in 1978, the Yugoslavian... is this a different story? The Yugoslavian emigre confided in the American UFO researcher Rich Reynolds that during the 1950s and 60s, the CIA had deliberately manufactured UFO incidents all over the world as part of a project called Operation Mirage. What's more, Nedeljkovic, who between 1956 and 1963 had worked for the CIA in Latin America under the Agency for International Development, was himself present at some of these stage events. And one of them was the Villas Boas abduction, the one we just read about. Nedeljkovic claimed that in mid-October 1957, he was part of a helicopter team conducting psychological warfare and hallucinogenic drug tests in the Minas Gerais region of Brazil. The team included himself, 2 other CIA doctors or employees, a doctor, 2 naval officers, 1 American, and 1 Brazilian, plus a 3-man crew. Various items of electronic equipment were on board, as was a metal cubicle about 5 feet long and 3 feet wide. Nedeljkovic was never told what it was for, only it was used by the military in psychological warfare operations. Using heat-sensing cameras, they identified, or initially the team flew around their base of operations Uberaba, about 150 miles east of San Francisco de Sales, testing electronic equipment. A few days later, they flew along the Rio Grande and conducted another night sweep. Using heat-sensing cameras, they identified a lone figure on the ground. The helicopter descended to about 200 feet, then released an aerosol sedative. The helicopter landed, and the man ran, pursued by 3 CIA operatives who grabbed him and hauled him into the helicopter, banging his chin on the deck as they did so. So I guess that might be where the chin thing came. They banged his chin, it bled. So they sprayed some sedative at him, so we don't know what's in that sedative. I'm sure it probably had some hallucinogenic properties or something. Nedeljkovic makes no mention of what was done to the man while on board. So did they give him a strange woman and colored her pubic hair and pimped him out? I doubt that happened. But only after a few hours, they left him still unconscious next to his tractor. Here we go. It says, so who was this man, Antonio Villas-Boas? Elements of the picture keeps coming down. Elements of Nedeljkovic's account do correspond to the farmer's story. For example, the timing, geography, weather conditions, and bruising under the victim's chin. Likewise, many aspects of Villa's account, his kidnapper's costumes, for instance, sound more human than alien. The aircraft also sounds as if it could have been a helicopter, modified either by his own imagination or some crafty sci-fi refitting. The unusual number of colored and white lights in the exterior may have given it an extra UFO-like feel, while the rotating dome on its top may have just been the rotor blades. Countering this, a large helicopter makes a lot of noise, and it would be some years before quiet helicopters were operational in the field. Even late at night in such a remote area, somebody would have surely heard the chopper, an unusual sound in rural Brazil at the time. In 1957, the CIA was also deeply involved in its MK Ultra program, researching mind and behavior-altering techniques involving drugs, surgery, and technology. They experimented with a number of psychoactive substances, hallucinogens, sedatives, stimulants, psychomimetics, and more, often on entirely unwitting subjects. Would the CIA have conducted some tests on subjects outside of their own jurisdiction? Certainly. For the CIA at this time, the entire world was in its jurisdiction. Villas-Boas was repeatedly sick during and after his experience and also suffered unpleasant physiological effect that Fontes took to be related to radiation exposure. Might the strange cubicle described by Nedeljkovic have been used to illicitly test the effects of radiation exposure? Although Nedeljkovic doesn't mention what they wore for the helicopter flights, Villas-Boas' description of the entity's clothing and helmets could be conceived as a radiation protection or protective gear. So that is the story of Antonio Villas-Boas. A little bit of a dig showing you why you shouldn't trust the men in black. And here's even more. Here's another example about Greg Giles. This is from Nick Hinton. Great follow over on Twitter at Nick Hinton, and then with 2 N's there at the end. Great follow. One of those interesting mutuals. Like, oh shit, can't believe this guy follows me. Puts out great content. This is being one of them. This is one of these many stories, just like the one I've just told you about. Now this one's about Greg Giles. It also is a lot like the recent story of David Wilcock, which I thought about maybe presenting in this segment today, but there's so many different little aspects to it, and I didn't really want to have like a solid, take on it, I guess, but it looks like it's probably a similar situation to what we're about to read with Greg Giles. But David Wilcock, for those who aren't aware, is somebody who was like one of those Ancient Aliens guys. You'd probably recognize him if you type his name up. You're like, oh shit, I've seen him in Ancient Aliens a bunch. Kind of like a big forehead, blonde, kind of thin hair. So you'd recognize him immediately if you saw him. But he recently died. And there's all sorts of conspiracies around, like, was there something weird going on here? Because it's also in the midst of all the different UFO or researchers or whatever you want to call them that were dropping or disappearing throughout the world, and then he happened. So a lot of people kind of connecting dots. I don't know, may have just been sad, may have just been a kind of a depressing story of a man whose life who fell apart or whatever. And maybe in a similar situation to this Greg Giles guy, because from my understanding, David Wilcock has kind of gone down some similar paths where he's been misled with some disinformation by some shadowy characters. Now, let's go through Greg Giles, who suddenly left the internet after writing a blog post back in 2016. Here is the blog post. It says, "Hello, everyone. I'll be taking down this blog shortly in the days ahead, as though I do not want anyone I do not want to see anyone else entrapped in the horrible U.S. government psyops program that had lured me into its trap some years ago and has refused release of its clench on me and my life. At this time, I'm leaving this blog up simply to get the message out to the remaining visitors and hope they will help share this message far and wide and reach those who have formerly followed my work. I've been unable to delete the associated content as PsyOps agents have successfully hacked this blogger program. The so-called channeled messages I received claiming to be from my soul family from the stars were in fact simple radio waves sent by the U.S. government agents, allegedly from the military-industrial complex, working in concert with others, many of which are secret society members who help propagate enormous numbers of hoax news stories of UFOs and related space news, building a backdrop for a PsyOps program that lures science and spirituality-minded individuals such as myself into their web. This program, commonly referred to as electronic harassment, has destroyed my life completely and continues to devastate my life until this very day. But I am certainly not alone, as the number of victims, known as target individuals, or TIs for short, grows exponentially each day. The electronic harassment operators are relentless, showing little or no mercy, keeping me under total surveillance, tormenting me, torturing me, and attempting to reprogram my mind as I sleep, turning my dreams into nightmares, effectively altering my behavior and free will choices as I continue through the mercifully final days of what was once my life. They have also in the past, and again very recently, scarred my body with their electromagnetic microwave neuroweapon technology, an successful effort to control and negate my relationship with a woman who is now gone from my life. There's no recourse. I have been able to uncover to shelter from this evil program. Their weaponry envelops us and follows us everywhere, sharing space from cell phone towers all around the U.S. and the entire globe, soaking our airwaves with the digital information of their hellish nightmare. There exists endless documentation throughout the internet concerning government mind control programs and the technology used against the people, and it's advisable to familiarize yourself with this technology, as the spread of knowledge is our best and only defense against this despicable evil that will not stop until every last member of our society is a prisoner of his or her own altered mind. That is their sick and twisted plan, the construction of a dystopian nightmare forewarned by George Orwell throughout the pages of his prophetic 1984. So this is his last post before he disappeared, claiming that basically feds were toying with him and completely discombobulated his mind and kind of made him doubt basically everything all at once. Here's another such story from Nick Hinton. A little shorter one says there was a guy named Joseph Fromage, who was one of the most influential figures in Silicon Valley until his life was derailed by an alien abduction experience. Afterwards, he became obsessed with UFOs and anti-gravity tech. Then he was gang-stalked, imprisoned for fraud, and forgotten. I bet you there's a whole lot more to that story. But yeah, looks another like one of those targeted individuals that guy was just mentioning. But you never know. You might actually get a lizard person. Maybe there's some truth to some of all of this. Or maybe there's just even further elaborate madness being constructed by the CIA. But I figured to finish this off, we'd end up with a little bit more of a goofy one. This is a story of Kyle Odom. This is Keo at Timeline Tripper. It says, if any of you guys ever need to shoot a reptilian in the near future, you're going to need something bigger than a 45. Former Marine Kyle Odom put 8 hollow point rounds, including a headshot, point blank into a pastor that he insisted was a shape-changing reptilian in an incident in 2016, which then got quietly memory hold. The pastor was at the hospital in 2 weeks and ended up eventually being appointed an Idaho congressman. So perhaps lizard people are real. Maybe we should care about aliens. I look forward to see what you guys' thoughts are here in the chat. And then we will get into our final segment. Peter Thiel goes to Argentina. Good morning or good evening to you, Bad Motor Finger from Scotland. Hell yeah. I believe I'm either Irish or Scottish. I'm one of the two. I don't know. I'm a mutt, but cool. Hell yeah, Scotland. We got somebody from Scotland in here. Chuck Bam. I think I didn't say good morning to you earlier. Good morning, Chuck Bam. Good morning. Saying Alien vs. Demon debate. Have fun without me. We also got the Disclosure Day movie coming out here soon. Here's a aggressively agreeing. Says not a coincidence that Hollywood dumped hundreds of millions on a Spielberg movie called Disclosure Day right as our government pushes the alien rhetoric. Yeah, it does seem a little bit like what the fuck's going on here. That's for sure. Who else we got in here? Everyone's talking about Bobert says she has shiny hair. She is very pretty. She does have very nice hair, doesn't she? Tom says I tuned her out without even realizing. What else we got? Bad says none of these Congress reps should be allowed to say anything involving the UFO material until they have at bare minimum read Richard Dolan's UFO for the 21st Century Mind. I've not read that one. Actually, I don't think I've read I read Chariot of the Gods like forever ago. Obviously, I'm assuming it's very different from the one you just suggested there, but I figured one of these days I'd read like Mirage Men. I know it's a fairly popular one, but I haven't really read many like UFO, parapolitical UFO books. But I don't know, maybe one of these days. Currently reading Ken's Trump assassinations book, and I just finished. God, I always want to start calling her Kathy Griffin. Kathy Sanders, I think, right? I'm going to be mad if I fucked up her name, but she's the grandma of Chase and Colton in the Oklahoma City bombing, frequently brought up. And it's her, God, what was it called? I never remember what the name of the book is. And it's, all right, I feel bad bringing it up. Either way, good book. Recommend that one as well. Interesting perspective coming from her. Bad says it's prudent not to allow yourself to become a fan of any individual in this field. Having said that, Dolan has kept a pretty level head over the last 25 years. Okay, cool. Tara says, I did not know that he committed suicide till last night. I know it could be all kinds of conspiracy about that, but I saw one of his more recent live streams, and he was looking really, really rough. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about David Wilcock. Yeah, I dug a little bit into that, and like I know a lot of people really want to lean into the conspiracy, and I'm open to it, but it does just kind of look like, and I think there might be something to kind of what I'm driving at, this like perhaps essentially being driven to madness by third parties out there, that tend to glow. I think there could be something to that. Maybe have destroyed his life in some way. I mean, obviously he has his own responsibility there. But yeah, I didn't get the impression he was doing well. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they were targeting him for something. Wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, he wasn't looking so hot. So I think he may have done it. And don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Don't lose your mind don't go chasing after waterfalls or aliens, okay? All right, let's get into our final topic of the day. Our final segment. Let's talk Peter Thiel going to Argentina. And kind of perfect timing we're covering this. I guess Ivanka Trump just recently went on some podcasts. And we've gone, I guess she's also, seems to be kind of a going theme with these rich and powerful people where a lot of them are moving out of the United States, getting their own little islands, their perfect little bunkers, yada, yada. I guess Ivanka Trump just did that. Apparently her and her husband, Jared Kushner, the guy who has been orchestrating all of these attempts at deals with Iran over and over and over again, and also Gaza, the guy who's kind of like basically the point man for all the death and destruction going on over in the Middle East. Jared Kushner, yeah, that guy. Her and his husband, or him and his wife. Why did I fuck that up so bad? Him and his wife Ivanka have apparently got an off-the-grid private island now. So let's hear them talk about it, and then I guess we'll get a little bit into Thiel and where he's moving to.
I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is. It is.
There's no power on this island. You're building everything from scratch. Correct.
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the island. We went on a hike, barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it, but with a lot of restraint and care, because the land is so beautiful that really the architecture has to be fully integrated into it, almost rise from it. You know, it's not even a business for me, despite the scale of it. We not only the island, but we have 5 miles of beachfront directly across from the island, this beautiful peninsula with a lagoon on one side, the ocean on the other, beautiful white sand beaches. For me, it feels more like a challenge than anything else. The culmination of all of my experience in real estate, all of my travel, a lot of reflection on how I want to live, how I think people increasingly are wanting to live, and trying to really build something that's a tangible manifestation of that. That requires a lot of vision, the collaboration of some of the greatest masters that exist. So I was just there walking the land, really just trying to sort of be with it and experience it alongside some of the greatest living architects of our time, like true masters of their craft. People with integrity so absolute, like there will be no compromise. And that's something we want to create there. So we're very excited. I'm not
going to lie, just like Lauren Boebert, I basically phased out everything she said. The only thing I got away from that is she looks like those aliens from Star Wars Episode 2. You know, the clone aliens. I believe they're Camino, and the planet's Camino. Kaminoan? How do you say it? Kaminoan. Whatever, I don't know the pronunciation, but they're Kaminoans, I believe is what they are. That's what she looks like. That's exactly what she looks like. But yeah, I guess her and her husband have got their own little private island too, fitting right perfectly into the role that Jeffrey Epstein left for Kushner. Seems, I don't know, a lot of people make the parallel between Kushner and Epstein. It's like almost there. I see what people mean. It's almost there, but either way, he's leaning into it. It definitely seems getting his own little private island. But as we talked about yesterday, Pierre Thiel's also moving. He's going to Argentina, and that kind of makes us wonder, is there perhaps more to this? Here's Whitney Webb exploring this possibility. She says, one under-discussed possibility regarding Thiel's apparent move to Argentina is that Argentina has, for many years, allowed certain wealthy foreign billionaires to establish de facto parallel states in the country, where the federal government declines to intervene even to protect its own citizens and laws. This roughly 7 years ago, I traveled to Argentina and wrote about how UK billionaire Joe Lewis, who Trump recently pardoned after he was found guilty of insider trading, so one of his recent pardons, had established one such parallel state in Argentine Patagonia, and even controls a private airport that the Argentine state doesn't even pretend to monitor. Did Milei allow Thiel the opportunity to experiment with one such parallel state? Given how Thiel and his associates are eager to create network states along similar lines, and Milei's own ideological leanings and personal ties to that crowd, it's an angle worth considering. So here she has linked here a 2019 article on Joe Lewis in Argentina for Mint Press. So I just retweeted that too on the page for those who want to check that out. Maybe we'll read that piece another day too for another segment. Let me put that in the bookmarks real quick. Here you go. All right, cool. So that's in there. Maybe we'll cover that some other day. Till then, let's keep moving. And it looks like Israel may be getting in on this little mini state action going on over in Argentina. So it looks like Thiel's coming actually a little bit late to the party with Netanyahu. So here's Here's from Gen X Girls. Has leaked a report. Argentina to accept 300,000 Israelis and create a mini state. This is a confidential report from the Argentina Secretariat of Strategic Coordination and Assistance in Emergencies has been leaked to the press, outlining a plan to receive 300,000 Israelis and establish a mini country for Israelis in the burned parts of Patagonia called Private Neighborhood Josue, Prophet of Israel. So, great. So we got a little bit concerning. I'm starting to notice as all these different things happening out in South America. It's kind of like, what is going on here? We got all the weird drug war stuff going on, all the different overthrowings of nations. We also got Argentina that seems to be this weird landing base for Israel, for other billionaires, for Peter Thiel. And it's this weird inversion too. Like, I mean, I bring up quite frequently the show. This show, I guess you could say, has probably a minor topic we tend to cover sometimes is like political philosophy and stuff. We talked a lot about theory in the show. I'm an anarchist, essentially, and there's a funny aspect here is we're talking about private states. To some dynamic, you're like, oh, that kind of is sort of like an ANCAP ideal, but this is like this weird inversion where it's like sort of not really. We're ending up with these people like Netanyahu, Peter Thiel, this other person. Peter Thiel is a better example of what I'm driving at. Peter Thiel created this like private state. Meanwhile, he's effectively a leader of a state in the United States, and it's like this weird as above, so below type thing. You're like, yeah, he sort of has a private state, kind of this weird anarchic area, according to him, but I don't know. It's with this attach of this massive state power behind him. It seems to be kind of a bastardization of these ideals for sure. But let's check this out. Who knows? By the way, if any Spanish speaking people out here, if they're like, this is complete bullshit translation, let me know. Not seeing any community notes or anything like that. But let's play this clip. Here's Netanyahu and Milei.
Se ha filtrado a la prensa.
This is a confidential report has been leaked to the press.
El informe confidencial
Cataloged under file number MS-26, the document coordinates the preparation of a preventive plan to take in up to 300,000 Israeli refugees in Argentina. This so-called preventative plan was born as a direct response to war powered by the United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran. And the document shows an alarming bias. A humanitarian operation and state logistics are designed solely and exclusively to take in up to 300,000 citizens of the State of Israel. Despite the fact that the war is affecting the entire region, the government's plan completely omits provide shelter to Syrian populations or other civilian victims of the conflict, focusing on all the resources of the Argentinian state in a single nationality, Israel. The details of the report are known. We see that it is therefore not a humanitarian plan, but to be subordinated to the needs of the state of Israel. Intensively, there are more demographic factors to add to the situation. Has been leaked to the media, documentation revealing the existence of a project, urbanization, approved by the Argentine Ministry of Public Works to create what Argentinians call a country, a private housing development in Patagonia, in lands burned by fire called Private Neighborhood Joshua Prophet of Israel. This private neighborhood will have no less than 100,000 hectares. 100,000. This is 4 times the surface of Gaza. So there you go. Let's read this real quick. This gives a little bit of an overview. This is translated from Spanish. It says dark clouds, black storm clouds loom over coexistence and social peace in Argentina. A confidential report classified under file number MS-26041728-AR. AR and dated March 8th, 2026 from the Secretariat of Strategic Coordination and Emergency Assistance of the Ministry of National Security has been leaked to the press. This document outlines an interministerial program involving high-level coordination to develop a preventative plan to accommodate up to 300,000 Israeli refugees in Argentina. To add even more concern to the situation, documents have been leaked to the media revealing the existence of an urban planning project approved by Argentina's Ministry of Public Works to create what they call a country that is a private urbanization to be built in Patagonia on land burned by fire called Private Neighborhood Josue. This is going to be no less than 100 hectares or 100,000 hectares, 4 times the size of Gaza. This won't be an urbanization that any Argentine can join. No, it's conceived of as a residential, cultural, educational, and economic hub for the Israeli Jewish community. It's planned to begin construction next April. Madness, a mini state within Argentina. As Harrison Smith is saying here, so Israel is creating a mini state in Argentina, buying 40 Greek islands, establishing New Jerusalem in Ukraine, already running independent oblasts in Russia, annexing Gaza, West Bank, and South Lebanon, while simultaneously passing anti-Semitism laws and establishing armed private security forces inside every Western nation. And a reminder to bring it back to Peter Thiel. I mean, he is the one who's basically done, all the murder drones over in Gaza. Those were you can thank Palantir for that. They've admitted to it. Both Karp and Thiel himself, they've both admitted to it in their own different ways. Thiel kind of seemingly abashed by it, whereas Karp seemingly embracing it, gleeful about it. Well, to finish off this, to kind of bring it full circle, to kind of really add an extra little flair there, we got a little bit of the occult as well. Apparently, the sister of Javier Milei, who is the general secretary of the presidency, is known to use tarot and astrology to decide the directions of the Argentine government. So that's a fun one. I figured I'd just throw that one on emphasis there at the end. That's all I got for you beautiful people today. With that, let's roll through the chat one more time. A little bit of a shorter episode today. I have a longer outro for you guys, and you will not regret it. Stick around for that. An almost 5-minute long outro, but I think it will be worth it for you guys. I think you'll really dig it. But with that, let's roll through the chat one more time. Checking on you beautiful people, and then we'll get on out of here. Martimac says he had a lot of negative shit going on in his life. Talking about Wilcock, I believe his name is again. Lawsuits, couldn't sell his house. It's definitely plausible. He offed himself, bug fights added, and he shot himself in front of the police. Yeah, that's my understanding. So that's what a lot of people are like, well, how would he fake it if it's in front of the police? And it's like, well, the police are in on it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. Good morning, 6R. It says, what a lonely prison. Good morning, facts only, saying feeling the need to avoid people, Ivanka. Oxtail, she bad though. Yeah, she's pretty bad. She is a bad Kaminoan. That sounds right. There you go. Ronnie Mac says, who is just really sick of hearing from the Trump kids, especially Trump women. Yeah, I actually like hearing from Ivanka better for some reason, and I think it's very Trumpian in the same way. Like his sons are weirdly dysgenic, and they're not smart either. And Ivanka actually, while I did like zone out, and it's not really like a stupidity thing. It's just the affectation, the like girl affectation. Like I just go. But if you do take a moment to listen, she actually seems to be probably the most educated, like the smartest of the group. Like I would not be the least bit surprised if Ivanka's like the most well-read. But yeah, I'd rather hear from her more often than from the rest of them. She's also more like stately. I mean, just easier on the eyes. It seems like there's more substance there. Tom says Thiel never comes late at a party. He's like a wizard. He comes exactly when he wants to and all over the place. What else we got? Marnimac. I can't say that one, Marnimac. I can't say that one. I don't know if that would be a solution that would have enough finality to it, though. What else we got? Good morning, Taurus. Says the Nazis were a false flag by the Jewish elite, I guess. Not a coincidence the Nazis also fled to Argentina. Yeah. You might be on to something there. You may be on to something. Good morning, Che Coho. Good morning. It says Tiffany is the only Trump kid I want to hear from. That whole party, says Q Burnamo. Yeah, Tiffany I always forget about. Let's take a look. Is she older? Isn't she still a minor? What is her deal? Tiffany Trump. How old is she? She's 32. So no, she's not a kid. I don't know why I thought she was a kid. You don't really see her ever, actually. That's weird. I don't know why you don't ever see her. All right, I'm looking at pictures of her now, and she's not ugly by any means, but she's not like, I don't know, like Ivanka has like a weird like, it's not like my type or anything, but she has a weird beauty about her. And whereas this one's, she's like generally kind of pretty. I'm not gonna lie, she looks kind of weird. She has a bit of a weird face, but yeah, I can see why they hide her too. So, but apparently that whole party's going to Keybird. But with that, guys, a little bit of a shorter one today. Appreciate everyone who joined the stream. Pop in tomorrow. I should be here tomorrow. We'll see. Definitely pop in tonight. Me and Austin hanging out. Already Dead, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You can call into the show. Just a little reminder, that's at 1-833-722-3323. That's 1-833-722-DEAD. Call into the show tonight. Hang out with us. If you're a patron, too, you can just come on as a talking head. But, yeah, so I hope you guys can make it tonight. Look forward to whatever me and Austin go through today. There was something I wanted to talk to him about. What was it? It was, I wanted to talk to him about about Jonestown and connecting it into Operation Shalom, and then also tying that into like a neighboring Jewish community that was doing basically the same shit that Jonestown was doing. So that should be fun. I'm more just saying that to remind myself. If you're in the audience, remind me as well. I'll try to bring that up to Austin because I'm looking forward to see what his thoughts are on that. But with that, for those who want to support what I'm doing, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers, and Twitter as well. On Twitter, that's at TerrorGangJose. Everywhere else, just search for the No Way Jose podcast. You'll find it. And if you want to support the show the best way you can, you can do that money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020, the top left-hand corner. We got that QR code that'll bring you to the same place, that URL I just gave you, if you want to use that instead. Over there, you get a whole host of perks at the low level of $2. Give you guys access to early episodes. I try to do about 1 to 2 of those per week. Try to keep about 3 to 4 of them behind the paywall at any given time. Also give you guys access to ad-free RSS feed. Give you guys access to Telegram. Give you guys access to pre-show, post-show, and video calls on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead, which is tonight, Tuesdays, every week at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And also give a big shout out to the highest level of my sponsors. It's a big thank you for their support. I'm my previous Ghost and Tower Gang, at Learn Toad, also at Brigade D's, at ZLVRCK, at _MD Zeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebo, big fan of the show Torme, at Wayne Tagos, 100 for Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, Jacob Wintergrad at the Biblical Energy Podcast, and John Black, that beautiful bastard. I think I messed up his name yesterday and he gave me crap for it in the Telegram. Sorry, John. Appreciate your support. I love you, big guy. I'm sure we'll see you tonight on Already Dead. With that, guys, enjoy this outro. I promise you it's a little bit longer one, but I think it is worth it. This is this little guy. His name's Samuel. He's the jam. Now this is the sort of thing that I like. He literally looks like a little Cole, like from Tower Gang. So for the Tower Gang audience, this is not only does it look like Cole, this looks like the sort of story and like life skills that Cole would pull out on you after knowing him for like 5 years and you've never heard tell this story and he didn't even think anything was significant about it, that it was or these skills were worth telling people about. This is exactly the sort of thing I could see Cole have done in one point in his life. But with that set up, enjoy this. I will see you guys tomorrow around 11 a.m. Eastern, give or take. Sometimes we're late, but hope to see you guys there. And I hope to see you tonight over at Already Dead at 9:30. So we'll see you guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.
All right. The first one is the creepy sound of the common loon. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. I'm going to do 2 species of crows. The American crow and the fish crow. Be prepared, but this one's loud. And then the fish crow. Excellent. And then the eastern bluebird. And then the Indian peacock. like, but you've been lied to. This is what is actually the red-tailed hawk sound, and this is what it sounds like. This is the sound of an actual bald eagle. This is the wild turkey. Johnny Morris's favorite, sandhill crane. Hey, Cassidy. This is a tufted titmouse. Here it is, Miss Stransky, the great horned owl. And then the mallard duck. And then the American flamingo. Alright guys, I'm going to do 4 birds from my bird journal. This is where I keep track of all my bird calls. First, the red-breasted nuthatch. And lots of people's favorites, the mourning dove. And another owl, the barn owl. You might have been wondering what a roadrunner sounds like, but you don't have to anymore, because this is what it sounds like. That's it. Thanks for having me.